Every time the camera comes on, I just laugh with joy. So today I want to talk to you about the quantum nature of relationships. And this is sort of tagging on to a video I did years ago, 3 years ago, about when there's three basic phases of a relationship, regardless of the context that I've laid out in evolutionary relating or relationships evolved. And that is, relationship genesis and relationship continuum, and then relationship postmortem. Like, how do you end and then prepare yourself for the next one, regardless of the context? So it could be a job, it could be romantic, it could be what have you. But there is a general quantum nature of relating. I don't mean that in some sort of spooky way. What I mean is when two, like if you put a gallon of water and a gallon of grain alcohol together, they don't equal 2 gallons because of the way the compounds interact with each other. And so it is with relating. So, like two people's patterns, they mesh in a certain way. And if they mesh well, we call that synergy. If they don't mesh well, we call that conflict. So anytime two people come together, they either equal, 1 plus 1 equals either more than two, which is synergy, or they equal less than two, which is conflict. And of course, there's a background river of relating that can, withstand some of that. There's some of the ups and downs. But that's just a general way of relating to relation and relating. So, then there's different levels around that. So we can think about that as event based, but then we could also think about the broader context of the relationship. But also there's, different streams. It's like water below the surface, or a river or an ocean, or whatever metaphor you want to dive into there. But in terms of ending a relationship, I want to bring this back to relationship postmortem. And there's if you want to be responsible in the way that you relate and communicate about your relating with somebody, often we seek comfort. And as I said in that relationship postmortem video, um, if you don't want to vilify the other person, first of all, it's not going to be accurate. You're going to be like, they're this and that. And your friends are like, yeah. And they collude with you and they say, yeah, you're better off without them. They're XYZ. Maybe they say women or men or relationships or whatever, what have you. They vilify that thing. In doing so, you feel some camaraderie, some comfort, but also in doing so, you give up your opportunity to develop or evolve based, like actually sitting with the pain. It's a very temporary balm. It's very effective. It's also, you know, illusory, and it doesn't really serve you in the long run. And we could take that one step further. And this is the part I didn't talk about. Really, the most responsible way to talk about it is it just wasn't a fit. And you fell in love with them for some reason. You fell in love with them for lots of great reasons. They're actually probably an extraordinary human being. And your patterns maybe didn't mesh well, or maybe you lack certain capacities along the way. But to say that they are a certain way is a very irresponsible way of representing them. Even if there's a certain pattern of relating that you've checked in with people and they're like, yeah, I had that experience too. It could be that there's a certain set of qualities or characteristics that don't mesh well. So you have to be really cautious about the way you represent people and the way you actually represent somebody, and even getting advice from people who, I mean, Lord knows I've had experiences where I have said, hey, what do you think about this person? And they said, well, I think this and this and this. And that's not my experience at all. Or I've had people come to me and say, hey, I had this experience with somebody. And I said, well, that wasn't my experience at all. There really is the quantum nature to the way these elements interact, elements being those two humans. And so, and by the way, both things can be true. Somebody could say, oh my gosh, this person was terrible with me. That could be true. And somebody else could say, oh my gosh, they were amazing. Both things can be true. Both things can be accurate. The variable is the two humans as they interacted. So everybody's right. Everybody's right to a certain degree. And every human is an incredible variable. Every human is really like humans in general are incredible variables. So you just want to be cautious, first of all, about how you talk about somebody after a breakup or during a relationship. And you want to take everything with a grain of salt that you're hearing about a person, or somebody, in any context. And you want to keep your own counsel while still being wise. But really, you just want to notice where you can take responsibility for your part in something so that you can gain the most value out of whatever occurred at the end of a relationship. And of course, never vilify the other person because there's no power there. You're giving all your power away. It's a kind of empowered victimhood, and there's no power there. And it's not actually empowered, it's illusory, temporary, and it won't serve you in mining the details for how you can improve yourself and also how you can get more clarity around what you want in the future.